Okay, good morning, guys. So we spent some time looking at equations with like terms. We spent some time looking at equations with the distributive property. So now we're going to kind of incorporate those two, which we did a little bit with the last lesson. But we're going to take a step back, just like we did with two-step and with like terms equations, and we're going to practice. So what you're going to do now is you're going to pause the video so you can solve and check the three of these in your notebooks, right? This is going to be part of your, notebook check, and also you're not helping yourself by just waiting and then copying what I'm doing, okay? You want to be learning something from the do now, you want to be learning something from the work period. All right, so I'm going to go through each of these one at a time. So I'm going to distribute. In other words, if you're the type of person that wants to divide both sides by -5 and get x minus 8 equals 7, that's fine. That's not the way I'm going to do it here. That's the way I normally would do it personally, but that's not the way I'm going to do it here, because for most of us that maybe isn't the best way. So I'm looking at -5x plus 40 equals -35. I'm going to divide both sides. I'm going to add -40 on both sides. That gives me -5x equals -75. And finally, we'll divide both sides by the coefficient, which is -5. And we should end up with x is equal to 15. Let's take a look at our check. So, of course, with our check, we know we're going to rewrite our original equation. We're going to substitute using parentheses. So I think x is equal to 15. So I've got negative groups of 15 minus 8. And once again, when we're checking with the distributive property, we follow order of operations. Order of operations does not suggest we use distributive property. So I'm going to evaluate what's in the parentheses. And finally, I'm going to do my multiplication. And the fact that my left side is equal to the right side is going to prove that my answer here is going to be correct. I can box it. I can give myself a check. All right, for the second one, this is a like terms equation. So I'm going to group my like terms with their signs, of course. So -8c plus -4c is going to give me -12c. I'm going to circle my constants with their signs. -20 plus +6 is -14. And I'm going to bring down my equals 10 as is. I've got this two-step equation. I want to isolate my variable term, which is -12c. So I have to eliminate -14. We know we eliminate terms by adding their opposites on both sides. That's going to give me -12c is equal to 24. I'm going to divide by -12. And I'm going to get c equals -2. All right, now for the check, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this out. So if you didn't get that yet, of course, you can pause. You can go back. So I'm going to clear this out here. And I'm going to consider that my rewritten equation. All right, so if c is equal to -2, I'm going to substitute -2 for c in parentheses. I'm going to do all my multiplication. So -8 times -2 is +16 minus 20. Now remember, guys, all the way back to order of operations, how we're going to approach this. -4 times -2 is +8. All right, we don't say, oh, well, it's +8, but there's a negative there, right? We've used that negative. We've applied it. We did -4 times -2, which gives us +8. And now we've got my +6 equals 10. Also, going back to our order of operations lesson, I told you guys it was okay to do the addition and subtraction all in one step from left to right. So 16 minus 20 is -4. -4 plus 8 is +4. And +4 plus 6 is equal to +10. So we should get 10 is equal to 10. And for the last one, we have a little bit of both. So the first thing we need to do is distribute the -5. Okay, so be sure we distribute the -5. So I'm going to bring down -5 times 2x is -10x. And again, I've used that negative. I've applied it. I've used that as -5 times 2x, and -5 times -3 is +15. Everything else will come down exactly as is. And 5 plus 45 is 50. I could do that now. I could do it later. Order of operations wise, it doesn't really matter, just because everything on one side has to be done and everything on the other side has to be done. So whether I do this now or later, it's not really going to make a difference as far as the order of operations. So I see I've got like terms. I've got 3x and I've got negative 10x, which gives us negative 7x plus 15 equals 50. So now I'm looking at negative 7x is equal to 35. And I divide both sides by negative 7. That's going to give me x is equal to negative 5. All right, same thing, right? I'm going to wipe this out, so if you need to copy, you can pause, you can go back and rewatch. So we're going to substitute negative 5 for x. And we got to be really careful with our operations here, right? So this is like a big order of operations problem. So I'm going to do what's in the parentheses. Could I do the multiplication that I'm writing right now at the beginning? Yeah, I could do that. It's not going to interfere with anything else. So I've got 2 times negative 5 is negative 10 minus 3. I could do this now if I want. I've got 3 times negative 5 minus 5 groups of negative 10 minus 3 is negative 13 equals 50. And again, now we have to be really careful. So I've got 3 times negative 5 here is negative 15. But again, this is negative 5 times negative 13, which is positive 65, which is what comes down. And when I add negative 15 to positive 65, I get 50, which of course is equal to 50. So the checks are starting to get a little more intense here, especially when we have both like terms and the distributive property. Right? In some cases, it's more than the work to solve the equation, which is why I'm not going to give you a whole mess of them, which we'll see right now. So that's your homework, guys. So anytime I'm giving you student choice, that's a couple things, right? It's obviously to let you assess yourselves, and so I can kind of assess you, right? If you're picking the first 3, it means maybe you don't have such a great handle on this, and that's fine. That lets me know that you need some help when I see you guys in person or remotely. If you picked 4, 5, and 6, and you guys, you're able to do it really easily, that means I can give you some more challenging stuff. So you're going to choose any 3 of these. You're going to solve, and of course, we're going to check. Okay, and as always, you're going to take a photo, you're going to upload it onto Google Classroom, and any questions, guys, be a good idea just to post them in the comments when you upload your work. Okay, so that's probably the best solution, right? I know I had the Help Center form. I think for a lot of us, that's probably a little more kind of time consuming than just putting a comment. Okay, now if you're putting note comments on your homework physically on the paper, you can do that too. It's just I may not get to it the next day, okay? Just because, most of the day I spend teaching the students that are in class. I don't always have the time to get to it that day or the next day. So as far as the most immediate feedback, and I'll post this at some point in Google Classroom, I'll have a stream post. Best thing to do, and some of you have done this, is when you post your homework, put a comment. Some of you were saying, I had a little trouble with 3 and 4. I had a trouble with checking 2. Then I get an email right away. I get a push notification on my phone. I can check your homework, and I can get your feedback pretty quickly. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.